Hey, well, good evening, Internet. It's me, DP Knudten, with another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And what do I mean by done? I mean having a brand new book done and uploaded to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing on January 1st of 2021. And this all started on Friday, March 5th of 2020 when I came back from Social Media Marketing World and decided that I was going to make the most of live streaming to write a book in real time, in real life, right in front of your very eyes and my very eyes as well. So that's what I'm doing every night for 301 consecutive days. I'm coming down here after working all day, after having dinner with my family, spending a couple of minutes watching some tube, and then getting my butt down here to actually work on the book. Now, what book am I talking about? Well, you've already seen the cover. It's right there. Nonfiction Brand, Discovering, Crafting, and Communicating the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And that's the cover art there that I created quite a long time ago, because I actually did the cover before I wrote anything within the book, because that'd be my big tip for you, one of my big tips for you. If you're ever thinking of writing a book, at least get an idea of what you want on the cover, because then you can put a printout just like I have right above my clock, which is right there. I see a printout of that every single day, and it reminds me, oh yeah, you got to see it to be it. Well, I see it. That means I got to be the author who actually writes that book. And so that's what I'm doing. So every night I come down here, and by the way, this is episode 171, and I've got 129 left to go before I actually have press-ready PDF files to upload to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform, where I will be self-publishing this book. So I got to get some mileage under my belt tonight. And so what am I going to do? Well, good question. Well, first thing I'm going to do is introduce you to the program that I use to actually write this book, and it's called Scrivener, and it looks a little something like this. So over here in this main window is where you can actually write the section. Then over here on the side, these are all the chapters or sections within the book that I'm actively working on right now. And I'm working on this one about Stephanie Liu. There's the lovely and talented Stephanie Liu. And about her planting her flag, her personal brand flag, in the world of live streaming. And I've already written some stuff here, but what I'm working on tonight is taking this big quote. Do you see this huge quote? That is actually one that she gave me during one of my podcasts, one of my Nonfiction Brand podcasts. In fact, the one that's running this week, number 105 with Stephanie Liu. In it, she talks about this. I was always behind the scenes, but now I had to step into the spotlight in order to really represent my brand, my personal brand. Ooh, I'm going to highlight that by just giving it some bolding. And what I could do for my clients in live streaming was one of those ways where I can pull back the curtain and say, this is what I do. So what do I want to do? And say, I'm going to highlight some key stuff in here. This is what I do. Let me show you. Any questions that you have, I'll answer them. We're going to highlight that as well. And that's the part that really just attracted clients. This is a good place for a paragraph. Now, claiming stake the ground, Stephanie, I love your show. And I was like, what? You mean my rinky-dink show that I was running off OBS? And then they're like, yeah, you can speak at my, can you speak at my event? And that's when I realized, oh, wow, I could teach other people how to live stream using OBS Studio. Using OBS Studio. That was my first foray into it. And then after that, more clients coming in, and I mean, unlike where you're like amazing at podcasting, at podcasting. And like, I don't think I could listen to myself, right? But with video, I could be myself. I could talk with my hands, all that stuff. All right, so this is where I'm going to say, I've bolded quite a bit of Stephanie's comment above because I really want to underline how she's proving via her personal experience just about everything this book is about. Let's start at the top and work down. And so I think what I'll do is as mentioned above, once Stephanie and her husband was faced with a growing family, her previous work previous agency-based business model just wasn't going to work. She knew she had to get the flexibility benefits of working for herself and on her terms, but that required a quote, how did I do that? This is a feature I am not familiar with. Well, dang. That bothers me. Oh, well. And that required, quote, personal brand. The next part is all about the way you really create and communicate that personal brand demonstration. And that's all. I don't need this. Quote. Live streaming was one of the ways where I can pull back the curtain and say, this is what I do. Let me show you. And any questions that you have, I'll answer them live on air. And the result of such demonstration do you see what Stephanie is doing there? She's first done the work to understand that her old job lifestyle wasn't working for her. For most people never even get that far. But then she's gone on to realize that the only way for her to realize that she needed to put herself out there in the most effective and comfortable and relevant way that she could. Did she know that live streaming would become the central pillar of her public, personal, brand, persona. Not at first. Not at first, comma. But it fit who she is, what she does, and how she does it, like a comfortable pair of shoes. And that comfort communicated itself through the lens via the always on global, always on, mostly free, global social media network of channels. And guess what? What? People noticed, saw her for who she is, what she does, and how she does it in a way that not only grabbed eyeballs, but encouraged engagement. Did she know that, like, engagement? Encourage engagement that led to real, lasting, and profitable relationships. Basically, you could have passed on buying this book. You could have skipped buying this book and just read this section about Stephanie and gotten the entire story that I'm trying to tell. Go to view document. Here's the thing about Stephanie and live streaming. It's just the a reason to attract. It's a bug zapper. Let's do this. Let's give it a for Stephanie live streaming is bug zapper and you're the bug. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip this part. And you're the bug. You know those fluorescent bug, fluorescent lit bug attracting Venus flytrap. For Stephanie, live streaming is a Venus. And you're the fly. How about that? Venus fly trap. And you're the fly. You know that carnivorous plant that attracts flies nice. Please don't misunderstand me. I am not saying that Stephanie is a carnivorous plant or I gotta be careful there. For Stephanie, live streaming is a Venus of not a Venice, a venue, a Venus. You're the fly. Please don't misunderstand me. Yeah, I'm what? That's all right. I'm going to leave that alone for a little bit because I sense myself wandering into a minefield, which unfortunately I step on mines every once in a while. And so I recognize the fact that my foot could be blown off any second. So I'm going to take a pause here and think about this, because I know what I want to say, but I'm not saying it the right way, or I'm saying it in a way that could be misconstrued by those who don't care to really understand, but instead want to react inappropriately. So I'm not going to continue writing this section tonight. And that's okay, because I've done my half hour or so, and I've made some real progress here, so I'm feeling good about that. But I need to give this some thought, need to let this marinate a little bit. So I'm going to stop things for tonight, but I will be back tomorrow to work on the book and continue moving this section forward and other sections as well. So cool. That's all I wanted to do, because again, it's not about me writing 5 hours every night. It's about me writing a little bit, or progressing the ball a little bit further down the field every single day for the next 129 days, so that I can get this book done. And part of that is, don't kill yourself if things aren't coming super, super fast, because all you're going to do is get frustrated and then give up. Well, rather than get frustrated and give up, I'm going to go, I'm feeling okay. I'm going to let it go for tonight. But I will be back tomorrow, because I haven't burnt myself out. So anyway, that's what I'm doing tonight. Thank you for helping me out by keeping me honest, by making me come down here and work on this and continue moving this book forward. My name's DP Knudten, and I am the host and creator of the Nonfiction Brand podcast. You should check out this week's episode, because it's all about Stephanie Liu, who I was just writing about. Episode number 105, about Stephanie Liu and how she's taking live streaming and creating a minor empire for herself and her family out of it, because she's understood something very, very important, and that is, if you don't own it, it's not yours. Well, she's owning her personal brand and taking off in a big way. That's it for me tonight. Thank you so very much. I'll see you tomorrow, but until then, theme music, take us on out. That's it for tonight.